What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved couples rewrites the rules of love? Most celebrity breakups end with distant silence or years of public drama. But every once in a while, a relationship takes a completely different path. And that's exactly why fans can't stop talking about the story. Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman are opening up about where their relationship stands nearly 9 years after their separation, and their latest comments are giving fans a rare glimpse into a bond that has endured despite living separate lives. But that's not the whole story. What happened next surprised everyone. Fans immediately began asking questions. How have they remained so close after all these years? What has kept their connection alive? And could their relationship be one of Hollywood's most unconventional success stories? The real story is far more interesting than a typical celebrity split. It's about decades of shared memories, mutual respect, and a friendship that refused to disappear even after their romantic relationship changed. In an industry where breakups often become bitter headlines, Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman have continued to surprise people with the way they've supported one another through the years. As more details about their relationship continue to emerge, fans are discovering that this isn't simply a story about separation. It's a story about loyalty, family, and redefining what lasting love can look like. So, what is the real relationship between Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman today? Let's start from the beginning. Long before their relationship became the subject of headlines, Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman were already considered one of Hollywood's most admired couples. They first met in the early 1970s, and what began as a chance encounter quickly grew into a relationship built on humor, trust, and a shared passion for acting. Over the years, they married, raised a family together, and became one of the entertainment industry's most recognizable partnerships. Fans watched them build remarkable careers while supporting one another through decades of success. Danny became an award-winning actor, director, and producer, starring in classics like Taxi, Batman Returns, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Rhea Perlman earned widespread acclaim for her unforgettable role on Cheers and continued building an impressive career across television, film, and theater. Their relationship seemed like one of Hollywood's strongest. That's why news of their separation came as such a surprise. Fans immediately began asking questions. What had changed after so many years together? Would they eventually go their separate ways completely? Or was there something unique about their story that the public didn't yet understand? But that's not the whole story. Unlike many celebrity breakups that quickly turn into legal battles or public disputes, Danny and Rhea chose a very different path. Even after their separation, they continued speaking warmly about one another, appearing together at family events, and maintaining a connection that left fans both curious and inspired. And as the years passed, their relationship evolved into something few people expected, proving that not every Hollywood love story has to follow the same ending. As the years went by, something remarkable happened. While many celebrity couples drift apart after a separation, Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman seemed to grow even more appreciative of the friendship they had built over decades. They no longer described themselves as a traditional couple, yet they never stopped being an important part of each other's lives. That unexpected dynamic quickly became one of the most fascinating aspects of their story. Instead of allowing their separation to define them, they focus on what still connected them: their family, their shared history, and the deep respect they continue to have for one another. What happened next surprised everyone. Whenever either Danny or Rhea spoke publicly about the other, the comments were consistently filled with warmth and admiration. There was no public feud, no dramatic accusations, and no endless cycle of tabloid headlines. Fans immediately began asking questions. How had they managed to preserve such a close bond after ending their marriage? Was this the secret to maintaining a healthy relationship even after going separate ways? The real story is far more interesting than a typical Hollywood breakup. It shows that relationships don't always fit into simple categories of together or apart. Sometimes they evolve into something entirely different, something built on friendship, mutual understanding, and years of shared experiences that can't simply be erased. And as Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman recently reflected on where they stand today, their latest comments offer perhaps the clearest picture yet of a relationship that continues to challenge Hollywood's usual expectations. Nearly a decade after their separation, Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman continue to prove that some relationships can't be measured by a marital status alone. Their recent reflections have given fans a rare look at a bond that has changed over time, but never disappeared. According to their recent comments, the foundation of their relationship has always been respect. Even after choosing to live separate lives, they remain committed to supporting one another and staying connected as a family. That decision has allowed them to celebrate milestones together, spend time with their children and grandchildren, and continue cheering each other on professionally. Fans immediately began asking questions. Could this be one of Hollywood's healthiest post-separation relationships? What has helped them maintain such a positive connection when so many celebrity breakups end very differently? The answer seems to lie in the years they shared together. After decades of building a life side by side, they didn't see each other as strangers simply because their marriage changed. Instead, they chose to preserve the friendship and mutual admiration that had always been at the heart of their relationship. But that's not the whole story. Their journey also challenges a common Hollywood narrative that every breakup must end in conflict. Danny and Rhea have shown that relationships can evolve without bitterness, and that family can remain the priority even when life circumstances change. And as more fans reflect on their remarkable story, one thing has become increasingly clear. This isn't just a story about a couple who separated. It's about two people who found a different way to remain part of each other's lives. And that may be the most inspiring chapter of all. As their story continues to resonate with fans, Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman have become an unexpected example of how relationships can evolve without losing their foundation. In Hollywood, where headlines often focus on dramatic breakups and public disagreements, their journey offers a refreshingly different perspective. Over the years, both have continued to speak highly of one another in interviews, making it clear that the respect they built during their decades together never disappeared. Rather than dwelling on the past, they embraced a new chapter, one centered on friendship, family, and unwavering support. What happened next surprised everyone. Fans flooded social media with admiration, calling their relationship goals in an entirely new way. Many praised the pair for showing that love doesn't always have to fit a traditional mold. Others pointed out that maintaining kindness and respect after such a long marriage is an achievement in itself, especially under the constant spotlight of Hollywood. The real story is far more interesting than a celebrity update. It's a reminder that some of life's strongest connections don't simply end. They transform. Danny and Rhea's relationship demonstrates that it's possible to redefine what family looks like while continuing to care deeply for one another. And perhaps that's why their latest comments have touched so many people. In a world where relationships are often judged by whether they last forever, Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman have shown that lasting respect, friendship, and shared history can be just as meaningful. Their remarkable journey still has one final lesson to offer, and it's the part of the story fans are celebrating the most. The more fans hear Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman speak about each other, the more their story stands out as something truly uncommon in Hollywood. Their relationship isn't defined by a wedding anniversary or a separation date anymore. It's defined by the choice they continue to make every day to treat each other with kindness, dignity, and genuine appreciation. That choice hasn't gone unnoticed. Every new interview or public appearance reignites conversations about what a healthy post-separation relationship can look like. Instead of becoming another Hollywood cautionary tale, Danny and Rhea have become an example of how mutual respect can outlast even the biggest life changes. Fans immediately began asking questions. Could more celebrity couples learn from their approach? Is their story proof that love doesn't always disappear when marriage ends? Those questions continue to fuel discussions across social media, with many people describing their bond as one of the most inspiring relationships in the entertainment industry. But perhaps the biggest lesson isn't about Hollywood at all. It's about recognizing that relationships evolve. Sometimes they change shape, but they don't lose their meaning. Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman have shown that shared memories, unwavering support, and putting family first can create a connection that survives long after the romantic chapter has ended. And that's exactly why, nearly 9 years after their separation, their story continues to capture hearts. Because it's not simply about moving on. It's about finding a new way to remain an important part of each other's lives, a message that resonates far beyond the bright lights of Hollywood. In the end, Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman's story reminds us that not every Hollywood relationship has to fit the usual script. While their marriage came to an end, the respect, friendship, and deep connection they built over decades never truly disappeared. Their recent comments have shown fans that love can evolve into something just as meaningful. By continuing to support one another, celebrate family milestones together, and speak with kindness about each other, they've rewritten what a successful relationship can look like after a separation. In a world where celebrity breakups often make headlines for conflict and controversy, Danny and Rhea have quietly chosen a different path, one built on compassion, maturity, and putting family first. That's why their journey continues to inspire people nearly a decade later. Perhaps the greatest lesson from their story is that relationships aren't always defined by labels. Sometimes, the strongest bonds are the ones that adapt, grow, and remain rooted in mutual respect, even as life takes unexpected turns. So, what do you think? Could Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman's relationship be one of Hollywood's most inspiring love stories, even after their separation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more of the latest Hollywood news and celebrity updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.